Let's get real for a minute. We're talking about pornography, a massive industry with hidden consequences most people never consider. What you see on screen is just the tip of a much darker iceberg, and it can shape your brain, your relationships, and your reality in ways you might not realize. This isn't about shame, it's about understanding the truth so you can make informed choices. So, let's pull back the curtain and see what's really going on. Let's delve into the science behind this phenomenon. We're going to explore how readily available pornography impacts the very structure and function of your brain. Pornography acts as a superstimulus, flooding your brain with unnaturally high levels of dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter, a chemical messenger, and it's your brain's natural reward chemical, responsible for feelings of pleasure and motivation. It's a crucial part of the brain's reward system. But the problem is, porn delivers dopamine at levels your brain was never designed or meant to handle. This intense stimulation overwhelms the natural regulatory mechanisms. Over time, with repeated exposure, your brain adapts to this artificial surge by becoming less sensitive to dopamine. It's a protective mechanism, but it has consequences. As a result, everyday pleasures, like a warm hug from a loved one, or sharing a genuine laugh with friends, don't feel as rewarding or good anymore. The bar for pleasure has been artificially raised. This phenomenon is called desensitization, and it's a key factor in understanding the negative impacts of pornography. And it's not just a feeling or a subjective experience, it's a real, measurable, physical change in the structure and function of your brain. The more you watch pornography, the more frequently you engage, the more your brain craves only the extreme, highly stimulating digital version of intimacy that pornography provides. Real-life connection, with its nuances and complexities, starts to feel dull, unsatisfying, and even boring by comparison. You're not just passively watching a video for entertainment, you're actively rewiring your brain, shaping its neural pathways to crave fantasy, instant gratification, and unrealistic expectations over the richness of reality. That's not just a matter of personal opinion or moral judgment, that's grounded in the principles of neuroscience and supported by scientific research. As your brain gets used to the high, that initial rush of dopamine becomes less potent. You start chasing bigger thrills, seeking out content that provides a more intense stimulation to recapture that initial feeling. More extreme, pushing the boundaries of what you previously considered acceptable. More taboo, venturing into areas that might make you feel uncomfortable or even guilty, but the allure is too strong to resist. More intense. The need for stronger and more shocking content becomes a driving force. This is escalation, a dangerous cycle where the pursuit of pleasure leads to increasingly risky and harmful behaviors. And it's the classic pattern of addiction, a slippery slope where the initial harmless curiosity transforms into a compulsive need. You might end up watching things that go against your values, content that you would normally find repulsive or morally objectionable, just to feel something, anything, to break through the numbness and experience some kind of emotional response. The more you escalate, the more empathy erodes. Your ability to connect with others on an emotional level diminishes. People on screen become objects, not humans. They are reduced to mere instruments for your gratification, stripped of their individuality and humanity. Porn normalizes unhealthy behaviors, presenting unrealistic and often harmful depictions of sex and relationships as normal or even desirable, and distorts what real intimacy looks like, creating a false sense of connection and intimacy that is ultimately unsatisfying and damaging to real-life relationships. Expectations get warped, leading to unrealistic and often unattainable standards for yourself and your partners. And the line between fantasy and reality blurs, making it difficult to distinguish between what is real and what is not, leading to confusion and disillusionment. This mindset doesn't stay online. The distorted perceptions and expectations that you develop online can easily spill over into your offline life. It seeps into how you see people and relationships in real life, affecting your ability to form healthy and meaningful connections with others. That's the real danger, the potential for online habits to negatively impact your real-world relationships, your sense of self, and your overall well-being. What you're watching is a performance: actors, scripts, lighting, and editing. The passion and pleasure are mostly faked, designed to sell you a fantasy. Many performers dissociate just to get through scenes. What looks like pleasure can actually be pain or trauma. You're building your understanding of sex on a foundation of illusion and emotional detachment. Real intimacy is messy, vulnerable, and genuine. Porn is none of those things. When you buy into the illusion, you trade real connection for a convincing counterfeit. That's always a bad deal. Porn doesn't stay on your screen. It follows you into your relationships. It creates impossible expectations, making real partners feel inadequate or pressured to compete with fantasy. Trust erodes, communication breaks down, and intimacy becomes a performance instead of a partnership. Porn teaches selfishness, turning sex into a one-way street. Real intimacy is about mutual connection, not consumption. When porn sets the standard, relationships suffer, emotionally and physically. It replaces real love with empty performance. The industry's empowerment narrative hides a darker reality. Many performers face coercion, unsafe conditions, and lasting trauma. Consent isn't always real when desperation or manipulation is involved. The pressure to perform, push boundaries, and monetize their bodies leaves deep scars. Videos last forever, following people long after they leave the industry. The system profits from vulnerability and pain, discarding people when they're no longer profitable. Consuming this content means participating in a cycle of exploitation, whether you intend to or not. Compulsive porn use is linked to depression, anxiety, and social withdrawal. The cycle of seeking a high, then feeling shame or emptiness, creates a powerful depressive loop. Real-life interactions become harder, and performance anxiety can lead to issues like porn-induced erectile dysfunction. The screen becomes a refuge, but it deepens isolation and loneliness. This isn't a moral failing. It's a psychological trap with real consequences. The promise of easy pleasure comes at the cost of your mental health and self-esteem. Recognizing the cost is the first step to breaking free. Porn is a funhouse mirror. It distorts sex people and relationships. It teaches you to see people as objects, not as whole human beings. Sex becomes transactional, mechanical, and disconnected from emotion or consent. Real intimacy is about communication and vulnerability, not just performance. Porn scripts create unrealistic expectations about bodies, desire, and consent. The more you consume, the harder it is to relate to real people and real experiences. You end up fluent in a language no one actually speaks. Healing isn't instant. It's not a quick fix or a magical cure. It's a process, a journey of self-discovery and growth that unfolds over time. It requires patience, understanding, and a willingness to confront the underlying issues that have led you to this point. Remember to be kind to yourself during this process. When you quit, when you decide to break free from the chains of addiction or unhealthy habits, your brain goes through withdrawal. It's a natural response as your body and mind adjust to the absence of something they've become accustomed to. But that's just your system resetting. Think of it as your internal operating system rebooting, clearing out old files and preparing for a fresh start. It's a sign that your body is working to restore balance and reclaim its natural state. Identify your triggers. What situations, emotions, or thoughts lead you back to old patterns? Understanding these triggers is crucial for developing strategies to manage them effectively, and replace old habits with real-life connections. Nurture your relationships with friends and family, seek out new connections with like-minded individuals, and rediscover the joy of human interaction. Hobbies. Re-engage with activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. Explore new interests, unleash your creativity, and discover passions that ignite your soul. And healthy coping strategies. Develop positive ways to manage stress, anxiety, and other challenging emotions. Exercise, meditation, mindfulness, and spending time in nature are all excellent options. As your brain heals, everyday pleasures return. The simple joys of life, like a beautiful sunset, a delicious meal, or a heartfelt conversation, will once again bring you genuine happiness. And real attraction to real people comes back. You'll find yourself drawn to authentic connections, genuine personalities, and relationships built on mutual respect and understanding. Healing means rediscovering authentic connection, the ability to relate to others on a deeper level, to share your vulnerabilities, and to experience true intimacy, deeper intimacy, and self-worth beyond the screen. You'll recognize your value as a person, independent of external validation or online approval. It's not just about stopping a behavior, it's about transforming your entire way of being. It's about starting a new, more fulfilling life, one that is aligned with your values, your passions, and your true self. The journey is tough, there will be setbacks and challenges along the way, but the reward is real. Your life, a life lived with purpose, intention, and authenticity. Your relationships built on trust, respect, and genuine connection. Your reality, a world filled with beauty, wonder, and meaningful experiences. Trade the illusion for something lasting. Choose real connection over virtual validation and embrace the richness and depth of a life lived in the present moment. The industry is plagued by ethical and legal issues. Massive sites profit from content they barely regulate. Non-consensual videos, revenge porn, and even trafficking are hidden in plain sight. Your clicks fuel a system that profits from exploitation and crime. Legal frameworks can't keep up, and platforms often act only under pressure. This isn't just a personal issue, it's a systemic one. Every view is a choice. Are you supporting an industry built on harm? Here's the truth. Pornography is a powerful illusion that can damage your mind, your relationships, and your sense of self. You don't need it to be sexual, to feel pleasure, or to be powerful. Real power is choosing your own reality, not being controlled by a screen. Your sexuality is yours, meant to be real, respectful, and connected. Real intimacy takes effort, honesty, and vulnerability, but the reward is genuine connection. The path is harder, but it leads to real healing and love. The choice is yours. Illusion or reality? Choose reality.